So in January of 2023, I suddenly fell into an episode of septic shock. So I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk, all of my organs started shutting down within 12 hours. Basically, I was in ICU for a week and a half and my parents were told that this is pretty much it, say your goodbyes. She's not really going to make it through the night. My name's Reyer. I am a personal trainer at Fitness Cartel and I have lost 55 kilos naturally and holistically, and now I teach women to do the same things that I did and building a routine that fits your life for good. This is my story. Before I started weight loss, I was probably in the darkest point of my life. I was 120 kilos, depressed. I just dropped out of uni. I had about $300 to my name and I was kind of out of avenues. I knew that something needed to change or I was probably going to throw myself into an early grave. I had to sacrifice a lot of my life to start the weight loss because I had a very negative relationship with food and I didn't have discipline and I didn't have control. So to actually regain that control back in my life, I had to let go of a lot and I lost a lot of friends. And I learned a lot about myself and my mental health and actually how bad my mental health was that sort of got me to that point, being that big person. So I think discipline is exactly what I needed and I couldn't run from that anymore. I couldn't run from my mental health. I needed to come face to face with the problems that I was neglecting for a really, really long time. And fitness gave me that sort of resilience and that discipline that I needed to sort of reflect on myself. Growing up, I lacked a lot of control just within my approach to food. I was never taught a healthy relationship with food. I was never taught what, fitness and what health was supposed to look like. So I had to learn a lot of this on my own. And I went through a lot of emotional turmoil and sort of chaos in my own head, almost dealing with imposter syndrome for a lot of the time, not feeling like I was worthy enough to be someone who had a success story. And looking back at it now, I still struggle a little bit with that imposter syndrome and guiding these women every single day. I feel like sometimes I don't deserve it. And then when I look back at the journey, I'm like, oh no, actually, I put in a lot of hard work and a lot of tears and, just a lot of trauma that I had to work through internally to get that external result. I think a lot of people don't realize the inner work that you have to do to sustainably achieve these weight loss goals, because it isn't just moving more, it isn't just eating well, it is really coming face to face with the type of person that you are and recognizing, your flaws, recognizing how you've gotten to this point in your life and what you actually need to change to be your best self. And I think I really had to come face to face with what I was neglecting for a really long time to overcome that, maybe like judgment in myself or that fear of failure, overcoming that fear of failure and just like falling forward and trusting myself is probably one of the coolest things and the most rewarding feeling that I could sort of grasp in this whole concept, is just believing in myself and trusting myself at the end of the day, knowing that I wanted to lose this weight and I will. So in January of 2023, I suddenly fell into an episode of septic shock. So I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk, all of my organs started shutting down within 12 hours. Basically, I was in ICU for a week and a half and my parents were told that this is pretty much it, say your goodbyes. She's not really going to make it through the night. And I didn't know what was going on. My family was sort of standing in front of me, just saying goodbye. And I was like, guys, that was okay yesterday. I don't know what's going on today. And yeah, I can't imagine, like my 80 kilo body at the time, I was already, 40 kilos down. I can't imagine how my 120 kilo body would have handled such a health scare, because if I was already so close to death's door after losing 40 kilos, my body would have given up on me a long time before that moment then. So I think, sorry, it's really hard speaking about this actually. Yeah, I've never spoken about this on camera before, so it's definitely... So I was 80 kilos at the time. I had lost 40 kilos and my body was already in a state of fight or flight. So I can say with full confidence that weight loss saved my life, because I could not imagine the way that my 120 kilo body could have handled that septic scare, and I probably wouldn't be here today if I didn't start losing weight when I did. And that is truly why I believe everything happens for a reason, and there is no better time to start than right now, because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. You never know what's going to happen 6 months from now. And if you let things go too long, you might run into sepsis and you might not be able to live. But if you neglect your health for too long, you know, things will catch up. So basically, start today. Start right now. Don't start tomorrow. Don't start Monday. Start with your next decision, because you never know if it will save your life. It was probably a few months after the fact where my body was still holding a lot of trauma from sepsis, and I couldn't get back to training the same way. My body was in a very different state. All of my organs shut down. You know, I had to sort of rebuild my strength up from an internal level, not just externally building muscle strength. I had to rebuild my body from the ground up, and that meant that I needed to, you know, pour a little bit more attention into the food that I was eating, that I did need to care a little bit more about, you know, not training as hard, because my body had limits, and this was the first time that I came face to face with that capacity. And for so long I was just so focused on pushing because I wanted to see weight loss. I was so short-term result driven that I could not actually contextualize the long-term results that I was trying to chase. You know, I was sacrificing my long-term progress because I wanted that short-term satisfaction of seeing the scale drop. So I think it was only after recognizing my body wasn't as strong as it once was before sepsis that I did need to pour a lot more into my health and make sure that my body was okay, rather than just trying to, you know, run my body back into the ground when it already had nothing to give. What the f? She would not believe where life has become. As I said, when I started the journey, I was 120 kilos, just dropped out of uni. I was going to be a film student, and I burnt out of uni within 3 months, gave myself $5,000 worth of HECS debt, and I didn't know where I was going. I had no avenues, I had nothing going for me. So to fast forward 4 years from now, I tell all my clients that, like, I had no idea I was going to end up here. I had no idea that I was going to make such an impact in these women's lives. But now that I'm here, this has been my why. This has been my purpose the entire time. You know, like for a long time, I was very angry at the cards that I had been given. You know, I was like, why me? Why did I have to be the one in a bigger body? You know, my brother grew up, he was very skinny, had a very fast metabolism. We ate very similar foods. And I think it was that why me victim complex in the very beginning that led me into this bigger body, because instead of overcoming those feelings, I fell into them. So I think it's cool now to know that I can differentiate the difference between, you know, just being a victim and being defined by things in your life, and actually just overcoming those things instead. I'm not going to let my weight loss, you know, I'm not going to let, it was almost like jealousy in a sense, you know what I mean? Sorry, I'm like rambling for a second. Can someone pull me back in? Go for it, he says. Just keep rambling. Yeah, I reckon it was like, you know, my brother always grew up skinny. There was a lot of jealousy there. So I really just didn't want to be defined. I didn't want to be defined by that anymore. So that's where the weight loss came in. And I think now every single day I wake up and I choose me. So it's really cool to know that, like, there was a time in my life where I did not care about my health. I did not care about myself at all, and that showed. And now I wake up every single day and I make sure that I am choosing me above anyone else. And that's not selfish, that is my excuse to be better and be my best self at all times. And I think just having that mindset sort of shift to know that I do matter and I am worth the hard work has been really cool. What are you waiting for? Like, really, what are you waiting for? Starting is the hardest part, absolutely. Making that leap is terrifying because the brain hates change. It's not because you don't want this, it's because you're scared of what's to come. But that change is really exciting. And if you can actually step into that and view it as something that you're opening up so many new opportunities for yourself. Like when I first started my weight loss journey, as I said, I had no idea I was going to end up here. But I could have stayed stuck in that same position that I was in and just been complacent for the rest of my life, not knowing that there was so much more out there for me. Yes, it started with weight loss and I lost the weight, but in saying that, I gained so much more quality of life. I gained so many more connections. I gained so much more insight about myself and actually learning how to be a better person, you know, through and through. So you aren't investing in just weight loss. You are investing in a lifestyle transformation and changing the person that you are inside and out for the better, at least for me.